Weaponry. Weaponry is key to warfare. In fact, weaponry, along with tactics, is key to deciding the winning or losing of any battle. Fortunately, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, weaponry has evolved. We have developed more and more efficient weapons. But the one thing they do teach you in the army as well is, besides using a weapon, learning how to use it safely. Safety is key because there's a lot of responsibility which comes with the use of any weapon. This is an MP5, 9mm, 30 bullets in its magazine. At this point, this weapon is ready to fire. But in the army, they teach you how to respect this weapon. Firstly, how you hold it. When you're using this weapon and you're not firing it, this is how you're supposed to keep your trigger finger. This, not this, this. Secondly, the safety settings. Every soldier is always, short of his superior officer telling him to pull the safety off, every soldier is supposed to keep the safety setting on safety. So even if he by mistake fires the weapon will not fire. Furthermore, how you hold this weapon in combat. For example, in this case, this is a close quarter combat weapon where you use it for short range. So you're supposed to keep it close to your body so your vector of fire is smooth, so there's no collateral damage, because you might be working, you use this weapon in a built-up area, in a compound, in an urban area. There might be civilians around, there might be friendly forces around, because instead of like this, if you are in a built-up area, you probably want this weapon as close and as controllable as possible. Why? Because the vector has to be short. Furthermore, how you hold this weapon when you're down. When you're standing on duty, you're supposed to hold a weapon down. Why? So in case a weapon misfires, it's going into the ground. It's quite all right. Safety. G3, powerful weapon, very powerful weapon, 7.62 mm, a 20-round box magazine. Oh boy, there, it's ready to go. Now, as far as this weapon is concerned, we know that it has the capability to knock out an enemy at around 300 meters. We know that weighs around more than 4 kg. We know it can do a lot of damage. Historically, it has. But this is what we also need to know. Every soldier, once again, is always supposed to keep it on safety. Same rule with the trigger finger. Same rule as well on holding it down. But a couple of other rules when it comes to firing. First of all, probably one of the most accurate positions in this weapon is kneeling down. Why? Because it has more weight. The center of gravity is different. So instead of standing up, you are more usually encouraged, versus the MP5, you're encouraged to kneel down and use this weapon. Why? More accurate, less damage to friendly forces or collateral damage. Same thing, even better. The prone position. Why? Because your spectrum of fire is even more accurate. And when you're done firing, what do? Put your hands up or put your weapon up. Always key. Safety is key. Then there's this guy, the MG3 light machine gun. Very difficult to control because this thing can fire over 1,000 rounds a minute. A fully automatic weapon, it's destruction made of metal. So you learn how to respect it. Firstly, look at the way the Army teaches you how to ergonomically use the way it's designed. You never, because this is, if your hand gets stuck here in the ammo belt, it's bad news. So how are you supposed to use this weapon? Like this. Your left hand, because most firers are right-handed, your left hand always goes on this side. The bolt mechanism is on the right side, ergonomically designed, because most firers are right-handed. And then recoil-wise, you're supposed to take your body's supposed to take most of the recoil instead of you. Why? Because you probably want the weapon to be more accurate. So when you're firing, you're laying down your arms, you're laying down positions on the enemy, you're laying down your sight, you want to be safe. You don't want to do damage to friendly forces. Once again, you have to use it safely. And when you're carrying this rather heavy weapon, it's almost 30 kilos. When you're carrying this weapon, you want to be safe as well. So this is how you carry it. Into battle, you could walk for a day, 2 days, 10 days. But if you're walking, this is how you would do it. Why? Because your shoulder is taking the weight, not you. That's another safety feature. And the machine gun. This one's with the tripod. Can do a lot of damage. An all-out machine gun. Similar features to the MG3, but a couple of important elements added to it. Firstly, the target sight. This target sight gives you more accuracy. Why? Because this is for in case of an aerial assault. You don't want to spray bullets here and there. Secondly, when you're working in a crowded area, you can set your rate of fire. First of all, you can use this elevation mechanism to figure out how exactly you want to tilt your fire. Secondly, you can use the traversing mechanism to figure out your spectrum of fire. You can actually set your machine gun so that it'll, in case it's firing, it'll only move within these settings. So that's the bottom line. Safety and not just security as far as weaponry is concerned, because they have a dual purpose. That's key. That's safety.
In this week's episode of We Are Soldiers, you were introduced to the operational functioning of the Army, Pakistan's largest armed force. You were shown the basics about the arms that make up this force and saw how the largest arm, the infantry, physically prepares for the rigors of battle and conducts weapons training. Next week, you will see more of the infantry. Soldiers from across the country will engage in simulated major and minor operations of war. You will also get an insight into how new weapons are evolving the infantry's structure and how new threats are reshaping the infantry's tactics and techniques. All of that is next week as the Queen of Battle continues. Thanks for watching We Are Soldiers.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul,